Well, I'm here anyway. Just after watching that new nationalist thing. Jesus, it was. Gonna go over. I'm gonna go over the what you call it, the article that they done just before 8:10, and then an hour later, then they had an attempt at a hit piece on it, and it was just absolutely glorious. Like they call themselves nationalists. Yes, we believe in the Irish nation. It's not exactly a kind of a far stretch, like considering we're the only ones that don't want it destroyed by letting anybody in a bureaucratic state. But yeah, I don't think it's fair to call us new nationalists either. Like as Pádraig Pearse said himself, there's no truth but the old truth, no way but the old way, and that's like it's the pillar of what we're talking about. Like I'm paraphrasing him again here. I'm saying if we don't fight what our fathers fought for, either they didn't fight for freedom or we aren't. So yeah, the new nationalist, like it's a fun little hashtag or whatever, but I wouldn't be screaming it from the rooftops. Well, we can steal a couple of things off Sinn Féin now, like because they don't. If we're new, like we're the Phoenix reborn, if anything. So like other similar groups in Spain, I'm reading from the thing here. Like other similar groups in Spain, Germany, and the UK and elsewhere, the focus of these groups is immigration. It's like, yeah, that's one policy, but we've also been watching our country dying for the last, since we joined the EU. Basically, like whenever we joined the EU, you could sell 20 cattle and build a 4-bedroom bungalow house out of it. That's on your own farm or whatever. Now that's closer. It'd be about 200 cattle. Like that's a big problem for everyone, really. Like our rural areas are getting destroyed completely. And the towns aren't much better. Like you have wages being driven down. Like you know all this. It's crazy that they would even fucking, it's such a blatant attempt at spin. But because it's in writing, they have complete control over it. But you seen there on that prime time, the prime time that was on tonight. Once we are actually allowed to speak, it's like I'm not going to try and overblow it either. Like it's what they done was they reignited, they lit a debate here, and we have to be ready for that. Like there's a lot of work to be done now, like obviously, and especially with like Black Lives Matter and stuff that's going on at the minute. It's kind of like Jesus. Rather than seeing the increase in non-Irish people living and making their lives here as being a normal part of a modern European country, it's like, well, yeah, maybe they're it's a sick European Union that under the thumb of global finance that's destroying us because we can't we can't grow exponentially like the markets desire us to. So it's just a case of importing loads of people to prop up this busted system. But anyways, for many of them, the conspirators include the Irish government, like Charlie Flanagan and all them, who is completely ignoring a referendum. He's just going around it by instead of giving birthright citizenship, he's just handing them out like fucking smarties to people. The NGOs, I seen that Poison Dwarf fella there, like, and one fella commented, he was like, his whole career just unraveled in 30 minutes. Like, it was a sight to behold, like just clutching at straws, like. But yeah, the EU and the UN, yeah, like, obviously, like the UN's a halal organization. That's the only reason that the like Sharia countries will join it, like, is if the entire organization is Sharia compliant. So they believe that these organizations want to replace Irish people with brown and black people from abroad. Well, yeah, like it's like nearly they used like like the Poles, like. Yeah, the grant, like it's like there needs to be a differentiation between like people and economic units. Like it's not a difficult thing for a normal human being to have to be able to a number from a person. But the thing is that our economy and even our society is based on numbers. Like you can get all philosophical about it. Do numbers exist? But at the end of the day, you know what 10 people are. and if there's only five of you, then you're not in charge. Like, and if it's in your own home, why should it be like that? You know, if you're not able to close the door of your own house, or you're probably homeless, like, or else you're dirt poor that you can't afford a door. But you know what I mean. Like, I'm kind of going off on a tangent there, like, but the yeah, mass immigration. People are starting to realize this, and RTE is after doing us a huge favor. It's not something to kind of rest on either, though. Like, this is only the start of the discussion. You know, like, ACI got a large chunk of the coverage, but that's because it's like a salt and pepper kind of thing. Do you know, like Gemma was making John Waters, like, he is an eloquent fella, making him seem like the most reasonable man on earth. Do you know, during them clips, like, she was kind of like ACI. I said it before. It's not going to last, like, because like, it's seen as a kind of a weird kind of like, it is a mishmash, really. Like, it's not really building for the future, nothing like that. But the star of the show is John Waters and that organization. Like, maybe Gemma unbolded him or something like that. But he's the fella that stood out for me there at ACI and that. Like Gemma might have got a lot of people kind of from because I suppose at the start you kind of have to be out there, like, you have to put yourself out there. But John he has a nice way with words and all, like, he's a very intelligent man, so he definitely came across excellently. Like, Rowan, I think he Roundcroft, he didn't want to take part, as far as like, because he knew it was going to be like a hit piece. But I'll say an attempt at a hit piece, because that was just crazy. Like, I don't know what kind of bubble these RTE ones are living in, that they think like like, oh, this is awful. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like, it goes to show why this no partisan thing from the left came out of. Like, it's that they can scream Nazi and racist and all these words, like, and it does put some people off. But the thing is that whenever you actually talk to us, you see that we're skin and bone, like, and it goes back to the same thing. It's like, you can see people as people, but they are also, in this system, economic units, like, and in fourth generation warfare, if you want to go on down there, like, they're also, weapons. Mouths and brains are weapons, like, basically. Bezmenov, he's some of his documentaries are excellent about it, or his talks about it. But yeah, this here bit here, the origins of the theory are in the French far right, in France's crisis of identity associated with poor economic growth and an uneasy relationship with minority communities of North African origin. Like, that is so oversimplified. I would say it's an outright lie. Like, that, what they're referring to there is the, what you call them, the droit nouvelle, or whatever you got, the new right in France, that emerged from a fella, was it the GRECE, the European Research Group or something? It was Alain de Benoist was one of them, and it is the reason why it's the new right, basically, is that it took Marxist strategies and it flipped them, and the kind of, like, the philosophers that were involved in it, they looked into it and they thought to themselves, like, where, a lot of you probably know about this kind of crack already, like, but like, how do we get a stable country? And, like, the theory has, like, Irish people, it's like a weapon too, like, like, as I'm saying, words and thoughts are a weapon of fourth generation of warfare. Like, it'd be the same as us, like, back in the 1600s, fighting the English, getting armaments from Germany, or the whatever Germany was back then. It didn't exist, like, but one of them Holy Roman Empire countries, like, getting lead or something, firing shots. But we repurposed it to suit ourselves, like, like, we it's like a tactic that we can adopt without having to veer at all from the goal. It's just a path that we can take, like, and a way of doing it, which is perfect because it works excellently, like, because you have as where is the France, Hungary, Spain, Germany, UK to an extent, not really. Um, but yeah, Ireland I think is doing it well. Like at the minute, it's just a case of kind of like getting down and dirty with it, like, and getting the ins and outs of it, and we're getting there. Definitely getting there. Like, how is that relevant to Ireland? You may ask. Well, that's a good question. The new nationalists. I don't like that. The new nationalists. We're just nationalists with new tactics. Like, nationalists, just Irish nationalists, I suppose. Like, but you know, Virgin maybe 2.0, maybe 1.1 upgrade. Same thing. Like, but just improved for the modern times at least. Principled opposition to immigration. It's like, yeah, I'm not even going to go into that, like, because you all know what the crack is with that, and they take every opportunity to denounce it. And it's like, well, yeah, well, mass uncontrolled immigration, definitely. Like, I don't know, maybe some of you think differently, like, but I have no problem whatsoever that, say, if Ireland wanted to start a space program and we needed some rocket scientist, and the only guys that were available was an American, an Indian, and a Russian. Like, I don't really care which one of them is hired by the Irish. So if they're the only people that can do it, I don't care who it is that they bring over to teach an Irishman how to do it. But it's like, we're not going to rely on him infinitely. Like, as if there's a learning and there's a benefit to them coming, that's fine by me. Like, they're free to leave if they want. Like, and as long as they're not breaking the law, and as long as they're not replacing us, like they're going, oh, we need a factory of 10,000 workers, but these Russian boys or American boys or Indian boys, they'll do it for €2 an hour cheaper than the Irish fellas, so we're going to bring them over. Like, as I said, there's people, and then there's economic units, like. But in direct provision, full of spongers, they have found a target that has plenty of other critics. Communities in Uachtarard, great work done there. Ballinamore, Ruski, and big great work. I mean, like, people actually starting to question things. Like, there was a few fellas went down reporting or whatever, and they done stellar work. Like, getting it highlighted. But it was the communities themselves. Like, there was no people getting bussed in. Like, you seen the left in Ruski and Moville and all that kind of crack. Like in was it Moville? Jeez, it was not the National Party boys. Was most a good few of them that ended up running. They were locals to there, like, they were only up the road, and there was other ones who were trying to put on their doorstep, like. But let's see now what it says. And then the nationalists clearly believe that they have found a receptive audience. Well, it's like, not all of us are kind of mushy brained, fucking reading the Irish Times constantly, like, But anti-immigrant feeling, like, this is such drivel. Like, where is there anything of note in this? The nationalists, right? Vox in Spain. It went from about what we got in what the National Party got in the last election to, I think, like 3% or something like that, and started getting people elected, because shortly after the election of their first election, there was them attacks in Barcelona, I think it was, and they grew in the south, like, very quickly. And it'd be nice if we grew that fast, but I don't want it to have to be something like that. Like, that's just kind of, oh Jesus, But here, if we can do it through logic and reasoning, that's just absolutely perfect for me. Suits me down to the ground, like, suits all of us. The New Democrats in Sweden. I heard about them at the start, but I heard they kind of cooked out of it. Like, maybe someone can fill me in on them a wee bit. Like, but many of the new nationalists are very Eurosceptical and admire UKIP. Yeah, okay, they're obviously not talking about me anyway, because UKIP was a kind of a bit of a piss up, really. Like, Farage did well, UKIP did terrible. I would have went out of it anyway. So it'd be kind of more, wouldn't say it now, you're right, like, but a supreme influence. No, get over Brexit first. this seems to be their dream. The 2020 general election was not encouraging for them. I would disagree there. I think that it's excellent, like considering that we were on the hop in our first election. There was massive propaganda against us. Like Jesus, like all that Momo crap and like how many NGOs, all this kind of crack. And then towards the election, then there was just a complete shut off. Like people just stopped talking about it in the media. But see, that could also be what's happening here now. Like, that they're trying to like stoke it up and then let it burn out by the time there's going to be another. If the election doesn't go through, or if they don't agree to a government, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil and the Greens on Friday, that might be a way of kind of pigeonholing it a little bit. It got less than 2% of the vote. Fuck it. Let bygones be bygones. We're heading up the way. But their hope is to emulate the more successful European counterparts. Their hope is in Ireland, Gaelic and Free, to go from obscurity to relevance in one miraculous election. It may seem unlikely, but as counterparts show, it's not impossible. There's the first kind of half-arsed compliment that we got out of the whole lot of them. But it was. Richard McCavity says, I agree with you there, lad. RTE has done us a real favour. Real nationalists would be fuming at that bullshit. Like, I go over the RTE thing a wee bit from what I remember, because Jesus, I was giddy. I was like a schoolgirl, like watching that. I was like, oh my God, what am I watching? Like, that woman that was down at the housing protest, like, it started off with Gemma ranting and raving about stuff, like, which kind of, whenever it just started, I was a little bit nervous about that. Now, all right, I think just in case they would make it out to be absolutely, like, mental kind of stuff, like, but it showed, what was her name? Oh, jeez, I can't even remember. She was Alice. She was down at that, the apartment block. There was a young mother who were living 11 in a house or whatever. That Alice woman, Jesus, she was brilliant. Like that, she was a great speaker altogether. Like the National Party were down there, down around seeing what the crack was with them too. But it was she was a great speaker altogether. I wish her all the best. I've never actually met the woman, but more of it. Justin Barrett, I think he came across really well. Like, they tried to like juxtapose him against Hazel Chew, and I don't think it worked out in our favor at all. Like, there was what you call it, like the little tear, like, I don't have any children and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, Jesus, it's like, you're the biggest race baiter in the country, Barry, Ben Joseph, and Ronan Lenton. Like, but it's like if you would just like. As I was said, she's not Irish, like, but if she would stop trying to redefine what it is to be Irish, maybe people wouldn't be like, and if she'd done something useful once in a while instead of being a Green Party fucking mayor, it's going to be a mayor now going, what, 70 grand a year, like, for what? To tell us that we're racist, like, for, pointing out that she's not Chinese, even though she says it herself, like, she is Chinese. It was funny last night, we were looking through all the kind of the stuff about her, like, that was in the news, or her family's Chinese restaurant and her history and all, like, and it's dodgy enough I'll crack, like, there'll probably be someone that's more journalistic than myself that will be doing it. I was kind of mad, like, it wasn't mad, like, but it was kind of I would have preferred earlier, like, I had to go out and do a bit of farming, like, and all this was kind of like, like, oh, Justin Barrett, he got kicked off Twitter again anyway. I was just kind of like, oh, fucking raging. Like, it would have been nice to kind of see what was happening. We could have built it up a bit for the night, but it was driving, so I could only get the odd tweet away or whatever. But there was him versus Hazel Chew. Like, I think he came across as supremely reasonable, I thought. I don't know if he's agree with me or not, like, but I thought it was very good, and I'm not simping or whatever, but as my party's leader, I'm delighted that he represented us so well, and like, this is all coming on a backdrop of like the Black Lives Matter. Like, you probably know who I am at this stage, like, but the statue that was of Sean Russell that was damaged. Like that hurts, like, really. But I'm not gonna fucking. I kind of got a bit of a lump in my throat there thinking about it, like, Um, I don't know. Maybe you just want to hear about. Well, maybe you don't. Maybe it's worth its own stream later. Like, what people in this. Like, I'm from Donegal. What people went through that blow-ins now are trying to undo. And it's like I tell me father, the statue in Dublin with your relation. It's after being painted over by some LGBT or Black Lives Matter ones, And he rang Sinn Féin, he rang the local TD, and crickets, like, absolutely nothing. And it was just like, it was like, like my father, he has done everything he could for the nationalist cause. Like, he was in Derry in the 70s, he was in jail in the 70s over fighting for the Irish, and the man, one of the men, like, like the family like a family member that was regaled in our family. Every Easter Sunday, I used to go up to one of the Easter commemorations in Donegal, and like, I was so proud, like, that a relative of mine was on the Roll of Honour, and to see Ireland going to a stage where it's a liberal dream world, like, where nothing matters except, what some trendy fucking shit loves. Like, it's just, what was there? What was all there for? Like, what was all that for? And like my father, he was kind of like, Jesus Christ, like, he's not a spring chicken, like, and you could see it was kind of like him realizing that Sinn Féin think Bobby Sands died for gay rights, Like, I said it to him. He was like, what did Sinn Féin say about that? And I said, well, Owen O'Brien, he's on about changing the statue or adding to it, And like I said, I told you that Sinn Féin, that they think Bobby Sands died for gay rights. Like, if someone sent me a Belfast Telegraph article, like, where Fintan Warfield, that Fintan Warfield with the fucking leather straps, he said, like, basically that, Bobby Sands and all was dying. Like, people, like, like my father was in, he was in jail before Bobby Sands, like, but like, I don't even know, like, well, what do you even say about this? Like, it was hard. It's hard to see the spirit's broken, like, maybe not broken, but the hurt, like, you give up your life for something, like, and this is what you get. Like, Sinn Féin turn around and do that to you, like, it's a tough one to take. But anyways, the statue was cleaned anyway. A lot of the National Party boys were loaded up, ready to roll out, and then the council, I think, had it underway by the time they got there. But the effort was there anyway. But it means a lot, because this is what it is. It's a national community, like, and whatever. Even if it wasn't a relation of mine, it was some mother's son, as they say. But yeah, it was it'd make you fucking angry, to tell you the truth, like. But on the happier things was, I was, as I said, I was out in the farm earlier, and whenever I got back, I was like, I started making up, little videos, clips that I could, share online or whatever to boost the party a bit, like that. And Jesus, yeah, got like, my plans just got a stick of dynamite. Like, that was the best advertising I ever seen in my life. But I was just class altogether. Yeah, it's such a crazy time, like that. Like, we can't be resting on it. As I probably said that numerous times already, but it's nice to know that at least now there's been a bit of a torch shone on it, like, you know, and it's only us that we can blame if we don't capitalize on this. The left are absolutely, you know, like their salt is just miles high at this stage, like, you know, because they cannot believe, like, that's why they need that no Parasan thing, like, you know, it just doesn't work for them whenever they actually have to sit down and debate. But yeah, I think now with the lockdown done, as I said, things are getting back active again. Now is the time. If you haven't joined the National Party, join it now, because now is the time to do it, and tell everyone you know that agrees with us that something is broken in this country. Tell them to come along, to chat, to talk, because that is our strength, that we can discuss, we can debate. Like, it's only whenever you're willing to sit in line, shut up, and do nothing. That's whenever the left look after you. So yeah, it was short enough. We streamed tonight, I think, but kind of covered the main points. Kind of yeah, about the statue. It's still kind of fucking. It's like, Jesus, that's some kick in the nuts. But here, that fires me up, like, and I'm ready to roll. So I hope you are the same. And yeah, look after yourselves and enjoy the absolute fallout of all the crack that happened from tonight, like, because it is absolutely, it's a sight to behold. So, Hawaii.